Yeah, so this is it right here. Finally ran the EBF. Couldn't get it to run initially. And come to find out, the energy hatches. I had to look at the energy hatches real quick. Um, this is only 32. The voltage is only 32 EU per tick at 2 amperage. You know what I'm saying? So I was reading a little subreddit or whatever because I couldn't figure out how to get the EBF to actually run. And what they were actually saying was you have to multiply it. So 32 EU per tick at 2 amperage is 64 EU per tick. So that's not going to be enough to actually run the EBF. When you go check the actual menu for steel in the EBF, right here it says 120 EU per tick. So the only way to get that, so if you're getting 64 EU per tick, the only way you can get that is to get 128. Let me walk over here so I can talk. Is to get 128 EU per tick. So the only way to do that was to add a secondary energy hatch, and this is what I like about engineering when it comes to the engineering issues or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have never known that regardless. I could have messed around with it and figured it out, but I wouldn't have. That would have taken me hours to figure that out. One thing that I did figure out though is these superconductor wires, solar infused superconductor wires. I don't need to cover it in rubber or anything else like that. It doesn't lose power over long distance, which my other wires were. That's why I tore it out. That's the brown beige wires up here. That's nothing but soul sand and what is it? Soul sand and Invar or something like that. That's to make the wire. And these are 8x. These are 8x soul infused. And that basically solved my issues with my machines because my machines couldn't keep up. They were like puttering with power trying to actually process and do everything. But with these, because I have so much power in reserve or whatever, and these are basically connected to these battery boxes up here. Uh, with I got crazy sodium batteries in this, so this represents 16 amps. All these lithium batteries. The 16 amps coming out because I filled the entire battery box, and everything is able to keep up, no issue, no problem. So I loaded this up with iron. Got iron in here. Iron all in here, and I forgot one thing. I forgot about is the ashes. You're gonna get that periodically, but I don't need a thing for that. This is where my steel is going. This is where my iron is going. I can also load this up, but this holds enough if I want to throw another recipe or whatever, you know. Anyway, I got all the oxygen. I AFK'd for all of this oxygen, so I need an AFK for the iron. This is producing iron decently, but it's still kind of low key slow, and I don't need to really turn these on, but I like to turn them on. And 25 seconds to make one iron ingot. Not too bad. So this is just basically AFK sessions, and this is what I was talking about when I was talking about GTNH, and the reason why I initially stopped it. That was basically version one, the original version one version of GTNH back in 1710, before anything else. You know what I'm saying? Now it's up to version 2.8 or something like that, or whatever it's up to. Which I do have, and I do have a world that I started to run there. But like I said, I definitely want to run GTNH on an actual server. So that's what this whole pack is. This I seen this pack as my opportunity to actually get to the end game of Greg Tech, which I've never been. The farthest I've ever been was MV, and I didn't even get that far into MV. And with the help of Create, and I'm gonna exploit the hell out of Create. That's the whole reason why I made this system right here. And as with everything else, everything I have in schematic form and all that, so I can make more of it. I got enough space out here to make more of these modules. Because I really don't want to produce. I really don't want to waste resources producing power. I'm eventually gonna have to though. That's gonna be an eventuality. But right now I don't have to do that, so I'm not gonna do that. And I could keep exploiting my little power system because I'm little ingenious design by myself, me, myself, and I that I set up and all that, you know. And I'm gonna AFK here for a little bit, get away from this, so I can actually hear what's going on and watch a show or something. And that's basically it for the meantime.